welcome to our launch of the Rock Talk podcast. My name is Autumn Newsome. I am the recruiter here at Rockingham County and your host of the Rock Talk podcast series, where we talk about anything and everything to do with Rockingham County, who we are and what we are up to. So our launch series will encompass having our commissioners here to talk about the county, as well as a few of our division directors and elected officials. So in this podcast, please welcome Kate Coyle, Commissioner, and Jason Henry, Superintendent of our jail, to the podcast. Welcome, you guys.
Thank you. Much for having us.
Absolutely. We're happy to have you. So I would love for our listeners to get to know you guys better. So can I ask a little bit about you and your job that you have here at the county, how long you have been here, your years of service, and all good things along that nature. Jason, would you like to go first?
Oh, no, I work for the commissioner, so I defer to the commissioner over here to go first.
So deferential. Yes, I'm Kate Coyle. I've been commissioner. This is my second term. So the commissioner terms are mostly 2 years, but sometimes every rotation it's 4. So I did a 2-year term, and now I'm in the beginning stages of a 4-year term.
Okay.
And I live in Portsmouth, and it's just been really great working at Rockingham County. I've enjoyed it tremendously. I think the work is great, and I am constantly impressed by everybody who works here.
That's great.
Yeah.
Good.
My name is Jason Henry. I'm the superintendent of Rockingham County Jail. I've been here about 3 years at Rockingham. My position is an appointed position by the commissioners. That's why I let her go first. So prior to here, I was a superintendent at another jail. Before that, at another jail. Started out my career as full-time law enforcement. I was a teacher. Did a lot of different things over the past 28 years. And end up here now at Rockingham County. Enjoying my job. Superintendent is in charge of everything to do with the jail. In the 70s, the jail and the sheriff's department split. So it's not run by the sheriff's department, run by superintendents. And that is my job, in charge of everything. And I love every minute of it.
That's great. Good. And so I'd love to learn a little bit more about your background as well, Kate, because we kind of got a taste of Jason's background. So can you kind of go into, your previous experience and what made that lead you to a career here at Rockingham County?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm when I'm not acting as commissioner, well, that's kind of all the time in terms of dealing with any issues that come up. I am a lawyer, and I was a public defender for a decade, and now I prosecute for a number of towns in Rockingham County. So with that, I got a real great exposure to so many of the county departments. I spent a lot of time at the jail. I've probably spent more time at the jail than any prior commissioner ever has. But also dealing with the county attorney's office and just have the sheriff's department. I had a lot of exposure to these departments prior to becoming a commissioner. And so I got to get a flavor of what was happening around the county. I also my husband and I do real estate development. So I had some touches with the Registry of Deeds too. So coming into becoming a commissioner, I had a lot of experience in that. It made me interested in helping with the running and organization of running the county. So it's been great.
Good. A lot of connections that you had there. Yeah. And so, Jason, I will turn this next question to you. Can you kind of describe what the culture is like, specifically in your department, but as well as your experience in connecting with the other departments in Rockingham County? What is the culture like in working here, and why did your career take you specifically to Rockingham County?
There's a lot in that question. Let me start back with what took me to Rockingham County to begin with. So since I had a long career in New Hampshire, when I was looking to move on from the place I was at, there were several jails that came open, actually. And I had opportunity and was given opportunity to go some other ones, but the previous superintendent I knew well. I knew the commissioners here well. And Rockingham County has always, I sit on a lot of committees throughout the state. Rockingham County has always led the charge on a lot of different things, including things Association of Counties, including things on the state level, things with the governor's office. So this county in particular was doing a lot of things that I was very much trying to get part of. And so that's what led me to come down towards here. Rockingham County was also, the jail itself was second in the country for any county facility to have their own OTP, opioid treatment program, which was a lot of hoops to go through, licensures, everything else, where we're able to do our own methadone and Suboxone, everything inside the jail. And because if you can't, then you have to bring them out to the streets to a methadone clinic. So Rockingham has led the way on that, and they're the only ones in New Hampshire that actually have that program inside. So all of that intrigued me very much. And I also knew that Rockingham County was looking at a couple of things. One was a transitional housing at the time, which we're not there yet, but maybe someday. But they were looking at expanding a complex and possibility of a community corrections, which very much has been on my radar because I've been involved with programs, implementing programs, starting programs, and creating programs that I've done from changing from 28 days to 90-day in-house treatment programs with years of aftercare and everything else. And the key piece is actually having a wonderful community corrections, which will enhance it. So knowing all those things, this is where I wanted to be. And knock on wood, the timing was right and everything lined up and I got to be here. So the culture, again, the jail is a very interesting culture. People don't know what a jail really is.
Right.
It's, on TV, all you see is Shawshank Redemption, a few other things, and we're all evil and this. That's not what it is.
Absolutely.
Most days, it's just this. It's talking. It's using your mouth. It's being a people manager. So for staff, and you're there with inmates on a daily basis. It could be 1 to up to 64 inmates. It sounds scary, but realistically, once these individuals clean up a little bit, because they come in on sometimes some substances or they have mental health issues, and we get them on the straight and help them with their health and those kinds of things. They're normal beings, most of them. You can talk to them, you can ask them questions about a football game, they play cards, play chess. So if you can manage people and talk, you can be a correctional officer. So it's different we see on TV. So that takes people by shock when they come in and we hire them. Like, oh, it's not all wrestling. No, it's not. That's a very small portion. Now, we do teach you to protect yourself and those kinds of things. But that being said, on the other side, jail is also very negative. There's not a one individual inside that says, thank you, correctional officer, for being here for me today. I really appreciate you, and we hang out more often. It doesn't happen.
Right.
Okay? You're there as a role model for them and those kinds of things. So it's not a job where you're going to get thanked often. What our successes are is you hope that a person doesn't come back. So what staff's culture over the past couple of years has been is they're seeing this building being built. Like, wow, that's going to help to the culture of these offenders going back and getting treatment, go back in the community. We changed when I got here. We used to never mix pretrial and sentence inmates. They were two separate. So now I mix them. It's based off classification and it's behavior based. So if you're a minimum person and you do really well at behavior based, you have more privileges on that unit. Medium less and max less, which has helped the staff manage the building better, which has made their lives happier. And actually it's helped the inmates on a certain level. So, well, I want to be over there. Well, do well, and we can classify you over to there. Mm-hmm. So there have been a lot of good changes. And I think over the past 3 years, and maybe the commissioner could talk, because she was here before me, I think you've seen some cultural changes that I believe have made some positive changes on the staff and the inmates in general. So
I think Rockingham has always been really progressive in an effort towards rehabilitation. And I think Superintendent Henry took, when he was handed over the keys and took over, he has just run with it in a tremendous way with implementing some of these changes to direct everything to rehabilitation, to reduce recidivism. And I think, it's been pretty effective. I think everybody really excited about the community corrections program, because now I think everybody in the community knows there is a real shortage of rehabilitation programs. And so now we'll have one inside within our county, within the jail, so that we can really help people, not just a 30-day, but a longer day treatment program, which is cognitive behavioral treatment based, rather than just a 28-day program, which is good. It's not a bad thing, but the research shows longer based treatment is much more effective.
Absolutely.
To retrain the brain for abuse substances, the average is to be substance free. It takes at least 9 months to retrain the brain, because you have to learn how to cope and act without those substances inside of you.
Right.
So it's retraining yourself. And then so you got the 9 months there, and then usually if you have another year of aftercare where we can follow and help you, that's where you get your most success rate. So that's huge on that end. I will say for culture-wise too, and again, since I have been at a couple other jails, and I sit on the certification board. I've been a past president of the superintendent's affiliate, so I know the other jails very well. Rockingham County in general has done a lot for its employees.
Absolutely.
Starting with, so the recruitment bonuses, we were one of the first to kind of jump on that. For bonuses coming on, the money for also if you bring somebody on, getting that, but also little things like sometimes money at Christmas time or ARPA money, those kinds of things. Also in here is my budget a couple of years ago. I came to the commissioners and I said, listen, I know it's more than just money for being here. And they're like, yeah, we get that. Can I put some money in my budget for officer retention? And they're like, huh? I would like to spend some money on officer retention, whether it be getting them. I brought French fry trucks, and I've swag bag. We'll call it swag bag, or gift cards. A little something which didn't cost the county a lot, in hopes to retain people, right? And they're like, that's a great idea. Then we brought the delegation. Like, well, we've never done that before. It sounds a great idea. So now, past 2 budgets, I've done it. And we've done things like use a grill. We'll give them some meat. So, here you guys organize your shift and go ahead and cook some meat, because correctional officers are trapped. They can't go out to lunch. They can't go out and get food. They can't leave the building. Once you're in there, you're there. And so finding ways that make their lives a little more comfortable while they're there, just those small things, has been huge.
I've seen that too in my employment here. I've only been here a little over a year, and I think it goes county-wide as well, those initiatives and those efforts to ensure that our staff are appreciated and make sure that they know that they have a good work-life balance and all of those good things. Do you have any comments on that, Kate?
I mean, I just think my experience from watching, being around the complex, is seeing how hard people work. I mean, I know I came to the commission knowing how thankless and difficult the role as a correctional officer is, and knowing a number of police officers who were formerly correctional officers. They'll say working as a correctional officer was the best thing I could do for training to be a police officer, because you learn to use your mouth, you learn to talk to people, and what a valuable tool it is, but it's also extraordinarily difficult.
Absolutely.
And nobody ever wakes up as a kid and goes, I want to be a correctional officer.
Right.
I want to be a police officer. I saw the Norman Rockwell picture. I saw a police officer on the street and stuff like that. Nobody ever wakes up and does that. I did not mean to be in corrections. I fell into corrections because I was doing it after I got teaching. I thought I was going to go back to the road. It was just a placeholder. And that placeholder turned into something I loved and stayed with.
Right.
But it's a very difficult career because people just don't, it's not put out there. It's not put out there. I've never known a kid or anybody else, and I talk at schools and everything else. Not a one thing. I want to be a correctional officer when I grow up.
And I've talked to so many of your staff that have been there for 12, 13, 14 years, and they're like, yeah, I wanted to be a police officer too, but then I just came to love it, and now I'm here for
And I did the opposite.
Years.
I was a full-time police officer.
Yeah.
And left, and I came to corrections. And so I know I've seen both sides of the coin. And I love being in corrections. There's a lot of things you can do. It's just been very, very good.
More than anything, you really get an opportunity to help people.
Right.
People through rehabilitation. I mean, correctional, through talking, through working with people, through recognizing that, everybody has a story and everybody is working, as my friend Ted Lasso says, we're all a work in progress, and I think that's true. Certainly some people on the, who are incarcerated, everybody's working towards improvement. And, anyway, with respect to the correctional officers, I think everyone's working hard, but I wouldn't limit it to just correctional officers in terms of the hard work that's happening at the county. And there's nothing more that it's just so nice to try to give recognition to the staff here and employees here to say, we see you, we see how hard you're working. Just the extra mile so many individuals go. And, if any of the small things we can do, we're so thrilled to put forward and do, because it's important. Just say thank you.
Right. And
the department heads around here, I was going to say, because we talked about what else is here. Our commissioner meetings every week. all department heads have to get on and do their updates and stuff, which is nice to see other department heads. So not all counties do that. Here, I find the department heads are much closer. Get to know each other. I have very good work rapport with all department heads. Like Jason Smith came on, and he was new and I was still new. So him and I've, bonded back and forth. We text back and forth. We talk to each other because, it's that camaraderie. From engineer maintenance, Drew Gates, who does a lot in our building. So I get to know her. Even Registry of Deeds, because I deal with a lot down in the Association of Counties and county attorney. It's been amazing working with all these people. I just can't say enough. Finance, Chuck over there is awesome. HR, Sheriff's Department. We meet every month. The Sheriff's Department, because they share a building and because we have custody of the inmates and certain criteria together. So that wasn't going on before I got here. Opening those communications. I've had the nursing home help me with certain things, or if I need a room over there. It's just amazing. I can reach out to anybody on here, and then vice versa, and we all help each other out. During COVID, when I was able to secure a bunch of PPE at no cost, first thing I did was, who needs anything for department heads? They're like, really? So I had my staff run PPE over to different places, and we got a lot of PPE and a lot of hand sanitizer, all for no cost, because we had some connections in the community. It's those little things, I think, that for a county like here is just because we all work together, and I don't see any animosity amongst the department heads. So at least I have not experienced any. And it's been fantastic. It makes my life easier on that level, at least.
Right, to know that you have those connections. And it's funny that you say that, because whenever I talk to people that are thinking about coming and working here, I always call us a community, because that's what we truly are. We're not a business. We're not really an organization. We truly are a community at the end of the day. And I think that's what the commissioners drive is that community type of feel to it, I'd love to kind of change gears a little bit and get our listeners to know a little bit more about what you might do as a commissioner. So can you kind of explain what you oversee as a commissioner, and how, what we had mentioned, such as appreciation for our employees, retention, all of that, and how the commissioners, along with you, kind of, drive those?
Sure. So the commissioners are sort of oversee all of the departments within the county. And included in that is, right now, though I think the legislature is about to change this, we have to approve any expenditure over $5,000. Shortly, that will be $10,000. But so that's a lot of oversight over the finance end of things.
Right.
Beyond that, just in terms of we oversee or have lots of discussion over hiring different pursuits, whether it's grants or other opportunities that the department heads are seeking.
Right.
Policies, procedures.
Of course, policies and procedures.
Yeah, all the paperwork.
All the paperwork. There's a whole host of things that happen at the commissioner level. But my experience is, one, we have great department heads. That the collaboration Jason was talking about how the department heads work well together. Well, there is truly collaboration here. And then that has the trickle down effect to staff underneath, because we're setting a standard of how we're operating within our community, which is collaboration, helping each other out, working together, and all in part of overseeing this over $90 million budget of taxpayer dollars that we're using to help our community, which is not just the community at large. Having nursing home services for people, for our aging residents, having adult medical daycare access, so for people who may not be in assisted living or the nursing home, having a place to deal with crime, to deal with drug abuse, to deal with all these things, and to, record your deed. So, right. I mean, some of it is bigger or smaller, but, these are all things that the commissioners are overseeing. But, it's really a group effort, and it's collaborative, and we are so fortunate as commissioners to have the department heads that we have.
Absolutely, because you are able to trust that they can, bring forward anything that you need to see in front of you.
Right. We're not going to be able to manage every little bit of everything. So we are reliant on our department heads to come forward. and, present things that need or address issues that need to be addressed. Rockingham County is unique because we don't have a county administrator. Unlike many other counties, we don't have a county administrator, and we're the largest county with the largest growing county in the state. And we are on the forefront of so many things within, county issues. So, anyway, it's a busy place.
It's a busy
operation.
Yeah,
for
sure.
I don't speak for all departments, but I feel very, supported that they do believe in department heads. And they say it all the time, it's like, well, I'm not the expert in there. Please put it over to there. Let them do the research stuff. And they let us. I've been places where not so much. Here is they really, they trust you. They let you do your job. And that makes it, easier to do my job, actually, knowing that they have trust back and forth. And it's been worked out very well.
Well, that actually is a good segue into my next question for you, which would be, how do you two both stay up to date when it comes to your education and your networking to ensure that the decisions that we make here at the county are the most educated decisions that we can make, not only for our staff, but our community in general? So what are your thoughts on that, and how do you stay up to date with that?
Let me go.
You want to go?
Yeah, I usually keep a coin in my pocket. It's 50-50.
Okay.
We go there. How to stay
I was going to go.
So for me, staying up to date, that is for a department head in my mind. I am the person that has to think long term down the road, 50,000 foot mark, and where we're going. Yes, I got daily operations, but that's usually the major, and I'm trying to think long term. A lot of things to do. So I attend conferences. I believe in education. It's everybody should be doing education. I finished my master's in 2018. 20 plus years into this career, still doing education. So I attend a lot of American Jail Association conference every year with legal updates. I sit there for 12 hours with legal updates. I just did another legal update with Prime X legal updates. I sit on the New Hampshire Association of Counties. I'm the certification board chair. I'm on the board of trustees for the state of New Hampshire for retirement system. I'm on the opioid abatement trust committee, overseeing one of the voting members where the money's going to go. I testify a lot in Concord on different bills. I sit in a legislative committee every Friday. So for me personally, I'm involved in a lot of different things. And the reason being that is I like to be on the cutting edge and know what's going on. I get correctional case manager reports that come in. I read those. I take a look at that. I look at lawsuits that are coming down and how to stay out of those. Because in New Hampshire, the superintendent under the RSA 30B is in charge of everything. When there's a lawsuit, doesn't make a difference what somebody else did. My name's on it. All right. So I want to stay out of the lawsuit business. I want to mitigate risk for the county, but also mitigate it for myself as well too. So knowing what it means to failure to train, knowing what it means to why we have to teaching staff, why we have to do those good reports, why we have to document things, why we have to make sure that we have good meals coming from the nursing home for our inmates because they'll sue for that. Why we have great medical care. We have a contract with Prime Care, which it's a little expensive, but they do a fantastic job. They go to court for us. They're leading edge of medications for the inmates, and they know the laws to help us keep us, again, out of risk and those kinds of things. So for me, and then I push it on my staff. I push education. I want them to go. I send them to more trainings. I send out my articles that I get out to my supervisors. Say, please bring us up a briefing. Teach the staff. Any staff member comes in, I tell them, what are you doing for school? What are you doing for any education? Are you joining American Jail Association for $40 a year and get a magazine you can read and talks about what's going on in corrections? So for me, that's what I preach and what I believe in. So that's how I think, over my just under 30 years, have been able to stay around and understand some things and be helpful. That's all I want to be, is if I can.
Right.
Well, could have let me go first. I have to follow there. But in terms of the things that I do, it's attending conferences, right? Because conferences have a multi tier benefit, which is one, you get training. You're going to classes, you're learning, you're educating, but you're also talking with the people around you, listening to what is happening in other places and coming up with, hearing what other people are doing and maybe drawing from those ideas to bring back to Rockingham. But for me, so those are some of the things we do the Primex conference, which is fantastic because that is about risk and avoiding risk. And
Right.
as a commissioner, I feel that is very...
You're in the same boat.
Yeah.
Incredibly. Yes. You feel the weight of risk on my shoulders all the time. I do. The Association of Counties is great. It's a great opportunity to see what's happening within all across the state. And the conference they have there is also excellent. And that's a great way of networking and talking to see what's happening around the state. I am fortunate as a practicing lawyer in criminal law, as well as I have my real estate license. So I do a little bit of real estate in the real estate development side, that I'm pretty tied into what's happening in terms of changes in the law and a lot of areas that are pretty important that are applicable to the county in terms of management of the county. So,
and I will say, as I said, as the people in training, I enjoy going to training that's outside out of here because A, confirms what I'm doing is if it's right or wrong. B, I can tell you New England in general is way ahead of the country in a lot of different things, at least in the corrections end. The last conference I went to, and I brought Major Banville with me, he was shocked at how far ahead we are compared to a lot of places. We just had an audit done on our opioid treatment program, and the lady was there, was like, she can't believe the correctional officers, how engaged they are, the security end of it, medical. She took my business card. She wants to give it to others to say, why don't you call Rockingham County and see what they're doing? She took the lesson plans from our training department and our outline of how we do things. She's like, you guys are way ahead of the stuff.
I'd love to change gears a little bit. So I'd love to kind of talk about what ways you guys enjoy getting more involved in your community. We've heard a little bit about how you get involved in education and your position here at Rockingham County. I know that you've talked about your real estate. So what are some other ways that you really enjoy, getting involved with your community, potentially through service, volunteering? What about that?
So
your turn.
I fortunately, one, I'm a police commissioner in Portsmouth. So that's a nice service in terms of civilian oversight of the police department. But I'm also a mom to a 8-year-old, so I get involved I have coached and coach sports and help out at the school and a lot of those things, in addition to some of my other work in terms of rehabbing properties around in Rockingham County, almost exclusively in Rockingham County.
Right.
So,
well, it is a good place to live.
It is a wonderful place to live. And I have had the good fortune. I lived in Derry and I've lived in Portsmouth. And so I have been across the county and know the benefits of so many of really across the county.
Yeah.
I don't live in Rockingham County, but it's a beautiful county. Drive to here. For me, it involved, so I'm on a school board, which runs the elementary school and high school, and I'm the chair of the high school board, so I've been doing that for a while. I'm a Mason, so I'm active in the Masonic Temple. Coaching, I've been coaching for over 30 years. My daughter was a freshman, now going to be a sophomore. Been coaching all of her friends since kindergarten. I thought I was done this past year of coaching, and I got sucked into helping coach the tennis team, and the girls came runner-up for the state.
Nice.
My daughter was the only freshman that was on it, so pretty sure moving forward, I'll probably be taking over the program for the next 3 years while she's there. Again, my kid, she's competitive soccer year-round, so I'm in a lot of stuff at soccer, and I also ref soccer. Like this Saturday, I have a tournament. I'll be reffing soccer on Saturday. Ref basketball. I do a little of everything, a lot. And I don't like to be too idle, and getting involved in the community. And for me, with the kids and those kinds of stuff, is just fun. It keeps me young. So I get involved a lot.
That's good.
Yeah. That's what
Yeah, and our citizens are able to certainly get involved with Rockingham County as well. We do have the BOC meetings that happen typically every Thursday. Sometimes they happen on other days, but...
And we would highly encourage people to come. You can come to the actual board meeting physically or hop on Zoom. The link to the Zoom link is posted on our website. Chime in. Come listen to a meeting. We have public comment. We would welcome and encourage that, or feel free. The nice thing is and I certainly do, try to make myself available to anybody who has questions or concerns or just wants to learn more. You can come to my office, call me. I'm happy to meet with anyone. I answer my phone always. So please,
I do the same thing. If you want to come visit, I've had people call, ask what jail, visit. I know all the department heads have had people come in and people have questions. It's your taxpayer dollars.
Absolutely.
They have questions and you can answer them. We answer them. It's pretty transparent. The money's here. And I think they want to get involved. There's so many ways. Volunteering, nursing home, or even the jail. We have educational programs. There's ways to volunteer just even on the complex itself that we're always looking for
Absolutely.
help.
Right. Meals on Wheels. There's all sorts of programming that we can, people can contribute or donate. We, personally, my over Valentine's Day, my daughter and I, she got her class involved to make Valentine's bags for everyone at the shelter at Crossroads,
that's
Portsmouth.
great.
And it's interesting. The takeaway from that experience is you can be the change, in terms of you can be the one, just with a little initiative, how much you can contribute, and that goes for anybody, really.
Yeah, you can be the change you wish to see in the world. Is that how that quote goes?
Yes, it is, but it's true. And certainly, yes, it relates to Rockingham County. It's like, come one, come all.
Absolutely.
Whether you want to, help out or contribute or volunteer or just learn.
Well, I think also we have about, 477 staff members or so around the complex.
Like that, yeah.
So for me, I've also encouraged my staff, just encourage our own staff to go volunteer, do those things. I have my past, one of my superintendents, I want to get involved in more stuff for Masons at the time. And I said, listen, but I'm working third shift and it's the meeting's this day. And he goes, he saw it as civic duty. He goes, you want to do that? Why don't we augment your schedule on this one day a month so you can go do that and then still come to work? I thought that was awesome. Mm-hmm. So I still live by that. If the people come to me and say, I'd like to do this, or, hey, I want to go read a book in uniform to my child's class. Fantastic. How do I make that work for you? Mm-hmm. What can I do? So I believe in that kind of stuff, that people giving back. And there's a way that it's, as a department head, that I can facilitate that. I think it's what should be doing because we're giving back to the community. If there's a way that doesn't cause any harm or those kinds of things to the taxpayers, that kind of stuff, but giving back. And I encourage that.
Right. And even our staff will get involved locally, within our own community. We're doing a food drive. Pretty soon the nursing home has a scrub swap coming up.
Alzheimer's walk?
Yeah, the Alzheimer's walk. And then we also have all sorts of wellness initiatives for our employees to continue getting involved specifically within the Rockingham County complex as well. So there's certainly lots of opportunities for both citizens and Rockingham County staff to get involved in the community. But I think that just about wraps up our conversation. It's been so lovely to have you both on the podcast. Thank you so much for coming on. For our listeners, you can always get connected with us on all sorts of social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. This podcast will be posted on Apple Music as well as Spotify. For our launch episode, you can listen to our 2 other commissioners as well as a couple of our division directors and elected officials to continue getting to know Rockingham County. And after our launch, we hope to have episodes coming out once every month for you. Otherwise, you can watch the Board of Commissioners videos on YouTube. If you're unable to make any of the meetings, you can certainly watch them there. And as always, if you are interested in any sort of employment here, you're certainly welcome to connect with me. Keep an eye out on our job opportunities webpage, and I'd be happy to, discuss further. But otherwise, thank you both so much for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.